Okay, I've got my trusty Dreamcast again, but this game actually isn't on the Dreamcast. This is a game for the Game Boy Color. A console that really people, I don't think really appreciate that much. I think people are more like DS, original Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, but the Game Boy Color had quite a good back catalogue, I've got to say. And I've got one of them today. We've got Duke Nukem for the Game Boy Color. And it's basically, if you've played Duke Nukem 2 for the PC, very, very long time ago, it's basically a port of that onto the Game Boy Color. Well, they say it's that. It's basically a game that kind of runs, or a storyline that runs parallel with Duke Nukem 2 on the Game Boy Color. I don't know, let's take a look and see for yourself. Okay, so before I actually get on and tell you a little bit about this game, I'm going to let it tell you exactly what the story is. Let it roll! So here it is, this is Duke Nukem, and basically this time, well, as always, he's been taken by the aliens again. This time he's actually been abducted whilst on a chat show. Yeah, only in Duke Nukem would you see this sort of shit. So when was this released? This was actually released in 1999 for the Game Boy Color. Now obviously the Game Boy Color isn't really known for packing a lot of punch, is the word I'd probably say. Or the, thing I'd say. Because it was just not that much of a very powerful console. I suppose for the time, it did look pretty good to us, but when we look back, it really wasn't that great. Was it? Well, actually, I suppose when you see games like this, I think we can all quite agree that it really was a great console. It followed on straight away from its early inception, obviously being the just standard Game Boy, which was around for a long, long time. Then the Color came along, and now look what we've got. This is Duke Nukem on the Game Boy Color. Now, obviously, most of you are probably used to, or, well, put it this way, I know people who think the original Duke Nukem is Duke Nukem 3D. They never realised that it started as a DOS game, DOS Windows game, for PC, 386, 486, whatever you name it, as a side-scroller. It was not a first-person shooter at first, until obviously Duke Nukem 3D came along. But this is where it all really started. Duke Nukem and Duke Nukem 2, side-scrollers. Action side-scrollers, really, really good. Well, they're just really, really good side-scrollers. Now, the crazy thing is, this Duke Nukem right here, for the Game Boy Color, is, well, let's put it this way. The story itself is parallel to the story in Duke Nukem 2. So if you've played Duke Nukem 2, even just from seeing this first level, you're going to think, hold on, this looks pretty familiar. Now, there are some exceptions here. Now, if I can pronounce this right, the Rigolatins, they've been replaced by the Zorganites. Now, Zorganites sounds a bit Power Rangey, doesn't it? Except for having Zordon. But, in addition to that, the levels, the weapons, the items, the enemies, and also the bosses, they're all different. So even though it looks very, very similar, it's also very, very different. Now, with it being the, I think, is it 20th? I think it's the 20th anniversary coming up of Duke Nukem 3D. I thought, what better time to get our hands on something a little bit different featuring Duke Nukem 3D, or Duke Nukem I should say. Now, there is other games like Death Rally, that's it, Death Rally on the PC. Fantastic game, he actually features in that as a rally driver. You would never, ever think that would ever happen, but it did. But here we go, this is it. This is Duke Nukem for the Game Boy Color. It's a testing game, this one. I do like it, I'm not going to lie, I do love this game. I think the music's great, although a little bit annoying and a little bit repetitive. It's okay, it puts you in the right mood for this sort of game. It's okay. Visually, I think the game is stunning. Now, I'm playing this on the Game Boy Player for the Nintendo GameCube. I think it's probably the best way to play any Game Boy games, to be honest. I just think it looks great, the colours are great. It's probably the best way to play it, because you've also got a controller, proper controller, a GameCube controller. Not one that everyone likes, but I certainly do. Level design's great. It's what you'd expect from a platformer from the sort of early to mid-90s. It's hard though, it is sometimes hard to know where you're going, because it does involve grabbing keys, unlocking doors, things like that. The staple for a true platformer. And to be honest, the controls are quite a nightmare. So much so, it just feels like they're just slightly too late, they're slightly delayed. Which really does cause havoc with a platformer, and when you've got quick appearing enemies. As you can see, I virtually get hit every single time. So that is one real bad thing about this game. And I gotta say, this is not my favourite Duke Nukem. My favourite Duke Nukem, it's got to be Duke Nukem 3D for the PC. It's probably my favourite. It's got to be. It's the one Duke Nukem that got most people in to first-person shooters, or just loving Duke Nukem for his badass attitude. Anyway, I've been out from Games Rep. Hope you've enjoyed this. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Al signing out.